Before I start and address the council, I'll go over how I will navigate the politics of the situation. To start, it can be hard to directly mitigate situations like these, because of the amount of red tape that will be up. The people conducting the operations know that technically they are not doing anything wrong. Politics always have a bigger agenda, and with that, the people funding an operation like this have a lot of money and invested that they are going to fight for. With that being said, it is then a matter of showing the council the reason why this is wrong so that they can create some type of law to prevent it from happening in the future. Along with that, the money that is likely being brought into the community from this may take a hit. But we have to make it clear to the council that the money coming in is not worth the potential of a major catastrophe in our city. Often having to work around political agendas and operations that have high revenue streams, safety and other factors can get overlooked. This is the angle that I will be taking when it comes to showing the politics of the situation and how they can miss the big picture. For us as a fire department, we are worried about the safety of the community. And realistically, this situation is not dangerous until it is. With that being said, the majority of people will not bat an eye because 99% of the time, this situation results in no repercussions. But the one time it does, we will have to answer for it. That is my assessment on how I will navigate the politics. Now I'll get into my presentation. All right. Hello, council. I know you all have a million things on your plate and do not need another task to complete. But we have a hazard that is taking place within our neighborhood, near our schools, and in all of the wrong places. It may hide in plain sight as something that many may not think to be dangerous, but it only takes one major catastrophe in a populated part of our community to really have an impact, which is why it is so important that something must be done now. I'm talking about the railroad fueling loading station situation that has been taking place in recent times within our community. We will not be able to stop the operation, but having guidelines in place, funding, and people trained to have the right protocols when disaster strikes is necessary. Within the fire service, being pre-planned and ready for disaster is the only way we have been able to make any sense of those chaotic situations. As a fire department, it is essential that we have that in place for all scenarios. I bring this up because trains are dangerous pieces of machinery and have contributed to some of the worst disasters in recent history. Take the Lac Mégantic, for example, a runaway train that derailed and caused the death of 47 people in the small eastern Quebec town, which to this day is having lasting impacts on that community. The situation is a little different, but the cargo being transported is similar, meaning the outcome of any disaster could be catastrophic and have a big impact on our community. The Quebec town is still facing hardships from this disaster to this day. This could be one risk. Another is the risk of stopping a catastrophe and the risk that our department members have to put themselves in to stop a major fire. Our men and women put their lives on the line daily, and a disaster like this is something that fire prevention and pre-planning should take off that list of life-risking activities. Along with that, we would have to implement new training in order to have members of the department up to date on how to properly fight a train fire and everything that comes along with that. Lastly, one of the biggest risks could be potential hazmat spill, which could just overall have major impacts to waterways, city economy, and other major infrastructure. Hazmat can be extremely dangerous and close down city streets, and overall create a bunch of secondary problems that the city would have to face. Overall, the risks exist for this, and it is our job to make sure we mitigate them and have a plan in place place before they happen. Realistically, the best option would be prevention, meaning not letting this ever happen in the first place. Prevention is the best way to save lives, and the ball is in your court in that sense. We just need a law to be able to pin down the people operating this dangerous scheme. Some things that we can do to address these risks are informing the community and creating public information about what is happening. Being informed is half the battle. Along with that, we will apply a tentative trained catastrophe response plan that allows for the department to have a unified way of attacking the potential of something going bad. Informing the public may seem pointless, but having that understanding what is happening and what is needed for them to be safe makes the fire department's job a whole lot easier. With that being said, public information and community seminars are going to be a big part of disaster planning for this specific scenario. Some other things that can be done are the creation of pre-existing checkpoints that exist along the railroad to ensure that safe precautions are being taken. Preventing this catastrophe is the main goal, and with prevention, if it's done right, like I said, nothing ever happens. With that, the department will also plan for future and current fire protection strategies for this task and future problems the department might face. New tactics will always be in the works, adapting to the newest form of disaster that our community may be facing. For right now, Council, our main focus is this specific potential hazard and everything we can do to prepare the community and ourselves as a department. Now that we have talked about the risk, let's discuss a couple of impacts to the budget in terms of dollars and project costs. Realistically, there's no overall impact to the budget, and we're still at a net zero when it comes to creating a plan to tackle the new problem. I was able to pull from different sections of the budget to create a new section aimed at solving our problem. I pulled the budget from printing, facilities and operations, vehicle operations, training and communications budgets to be able to put together enough money to create a new plan. Each of these individual sections of budgeting will not take a big enough hit to notice it this fiscal year, and realistically, it can be made up next year if needed. All of our radios work, and any wanted upgrades can be pushed off till next year, along with vehicle operations and all the other parts of the budget that I mentioned. This does not mean mandatory department essential purchases will not be made, but the overall spending and non-needed items will be limited in those budget areas. Like I just mentioned, the overall is a net zero, and even though each area of the budget is impacted individually, overall, the budget is not impacted at all. The 5 different categories of the budget I use allow me to stay at net zero. Doing the math, our new plan to tackle risk would equate to $9,540, and with the money we took strategically from each area of the budget, we did not impact any part at all, and were able to put together exactly $9,540 to cover the cost of the new program. The goal of this was to not have spent any money out of pocket as a department, allowing us to tackle this problem fully in-house. The only other thing needed would be the support from you all as a council. My request is that the council does what they can to take action in the form of a